Under Trump, U.S. prisons offered gender-affirming care. This is a New York Times article from October 16,
Without objection.
2024. Thank you.
Next, if I've got this right, ranking member, we have Mr. Raskin from the great state of Maryland.
Thank you, Chairman Van Drew. Mr. Potter, is there evidence that private prisons are run better than Bureau of Prison Facilities?
There isn't any evidence that I've ever seen.
Mr. Milton, the president wants us to hand out hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses and incentive pay to ICE agents. I think the number we saw the other day, we discussed it here in committee, was $858 million to ICE agents, which, according to Mr. Moskowitz's calculations, came to something like $45,000 per employee of ICE. And yet at the same time, we're reading articles about how retention incentives are being cut right now for Bureau of Prison staff, up to 25%, effectively reducing their salaries when you look at it from an annual perspective. So what kind of effect is this having on Bureau of Prisons correction officers?
Thank you for the question, Ranking Member Raskin. You know, what we've come to realize when we talk about officers, correction officers tend to be, you know, amongst the lowest paid. And when those bonuses were removed, it certainly did should I say the incentives were removed, it disincentivized a number of correction officers. And certainly it has an impact on morale. And so we believe that investing in correction officers will also increase morale and have a better impact on those who are incarcerated as well.
The president has told us recently that the border has never been safer. Can you think of any reason why we should be spending hundreds of millions of dollars on bonus pay for ICE employees while we're reducing retention bonuses and incentive pay for Bureau of Prison employees?
No, sir.
What's that going to do to retention moving forward?
I'm sorry.
What's it going to do to our ability to retain the best Bureau of Prison employees?
Certainly, it makes it a challenge. You know, removing those bonuses, you know, can speak to a lack of willingness to invest in this case, people. And what I think one of the things that's missing in the conversation is that whether we're talking about people who are incarcerated or in this case, correctional staff, these are people. And at the center of all of the solutions, we should be placing people at the forefront. As much as we're talking about the facilities, and in this case, bonus pay, it's really about the morale of people and how it's impacting, you know, those who are directly impacted.
All right, so it's going to be profoundly demoralizing to the staff there now. We've heard also about an increase in lockdowns taking place because you've got the people who are the most effective and necessary employees resigning because their pay is being cut. And these lockdowns can last weeks, even months, I've heard in some cases. What impact does the lockdown have on prison safety, on access to programming, on the mental health of incarcerated people?
Yeah, well, when lockdowns happen, there is a decrease in access to medical care. There's a decrease in access to families, and so you can't reach out to families, and families don't know what's going on during those lockdowns, and it creates a panic and tension within the facilities. And then, you know, certainly implementing the lockdowns certainly places pressure on staff as well, and so it creates a system where folks are now ill at ease during that process, and so
So there's this rhetorical lip service to the people who've got the toughest jobs actually in the prisons, you know, managing very difficult conditions, and yet the president issued an executive order wiping out collective bargaining purportedly for more than 1 million federal workers, including all of these Bureau of Prison employees. What effect will that have on the staffing crisis, and what does it do to the morale of people who work as correctional officers?
Yeah, certainly collective bargaining, establishes a formal process for advocacy for people, for the workers. And so by removing that formal process where folks can sit at a table across from each other and find common ground on issues that are impacting their quality of life, it certainly removes that opportunity to do that in a formal way.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. The gentleman from the great state of Arizona, Andy Biggs.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.